All right.
Welcome, everybody, to You Heard It Here First with LeDrop WithCheese. And today I have a couple of amazing guests for you, an inseparable art duo. And James was a former community ambassador for Voice, and they lost a humongous following. And James is going to tell us why that happened. So, James, thank you so much for taking the time to speak with me. Tell us a little bit about what's going on in Voice and how you were involved with them.
Sure. Voice, I mean, my very first entry into the world of NFTs at the time, and little over a year ago now, in November 2021 is when I joined. I sold my first NFT there within 5 days of minting one, and I absolutely was blown away by it. And I got so excited, I started I had hundreds of artworks already. I just started minting them left and right and promoting them and learning how to do social media network marketing and all of that. And they started out really good. And I did my research. I'm like, wow, voice.com, being a network guru and I used to teach computer science at Damar College. I was a professor. So right away, I knew that voice.com was not a cheap domain name. And of course I was right. Looking it up right away, they bought it for $30 million. They got this huge investment from Block One, $150 million investment to do what they were doing with their company. And that made me feel really comfortable at first. Of course, when I joined, they're in beta. And in my opinion, I think they came out of beta way too soon, because a lot of the changes they've made recently should have been changes that they were making in beta. And that's a lot of their following was lost because of that. They started out as a very community oriented, the philosophy behind decentralization and the platform itself being controlled and voted in by its community, which is what they started with. They started with its community, and every single change and every single element of that NFT platform was voted in by us. We got to go to their support page and we got to put in suggestions, and then everyone voted on what suggestions were added to the platform next. And they were doing that. They were going through that list, that checklist, and they were adding those things. And then they stopped doing that out of nowhere. They just stopped doing that. They got rid of the support page, and they went from decentralized to kind of decentralized. And unfortunately, they lost a lot of followers in the beginning because of that as well. After they went from beta to being live is when they cut that cord and said, we're not doing that anymore. And there were a lot of things that a lot of members had voted for, like the ability to create collections, or have a series. Like most other platforms, you can add your NFTs into a series so that they're all in one link and they're all tied to a single hash or address that is a part of a series, which makes it a lot easier to market and a lot easier to have everything going into one place. And they have not added that. That was one of the highest voted things that most of the community members had been asking for. They didn't add it. Instead, they went for, which I can give them, they did something really cool that I thought was really cool. Was they did this residency program, and it was what they opened up the floor with on Voice, was the fact that they were doing marginalized communities and underprivileged artists from all over the world, and they would give them a stipend to be a resident and to do the marketing for them to help them get sales. And they started that program, but at the same time, they started this community Discord with members like me in it, and a lot of other really big members currently in the NFT community, like Ella and Bright Light Arts. And that's where I met Ella, was in Voice. And she was a big community leader and helped Voice. I'm pretty sure she taught their marketing director how to do a lot of what they were doing. And they did grow because of that very fast. And they went from a following of maybe about 30,000 people in a very short 6-month period to having over 130,000 members. And I remember, because I went to every single one of these weekly Twitter spaces where we could ask them about these things. And I had participated in every single event that they had from the beginning all the way up until maybe just a couple of months ago. I decided to stop going to those because they they were dying, and there was only maybe 1 or 2 people showing up, and a lot of them just had a lot of questions, and some people were showing up just to say mean things, so they stopped doing them altogether. And I mean, that grew, and that came from lack of communication. That is the key. They stopped talking to their Discord community about what was going on. They stopped announcing to us about the changes that were going to take place, and they stopped involving us completely out of nowhere in having an opinion whatsoever in any of these changes, which removes the decentralization prospect of it altogether. And when you're making changes like these in a company where you open up and you bring in all these people that help build the community that's buying NFTs on this platform, and then you just take all that away, you wonder where your following is gone. That's where it went. You can't do that to a community. You can't grow a community. That's the definition of being rugged, is it not? So I'm not saying that they're rugged everyone. I'm saying that they had problems. They had financial problems, and it's obvious, because out of nowhere they implemented $10 or a 10% fee, which it would cost, or it was a minimum $10 fee to be able to withdraw any money that you made making sales on Voice into your personal wallets. And a lot of people were really angry about that because it wasn't announced. It was just all of a sudden a little warning that popped up when you were going to withdraw money that said that it was coming. And I don't know that they actually finished implementing that. They instead decided to go with a 15% sale fee. Like if you make a sale, they take 15% of that, which would be fine if they had stayed in beta, but you can't go and make these changes in a live platform like that. Like it's obvious that your money is not well placed. And you started out with $150 million investment from a large company that invests in ideas like this. And then that money is, where did it go? I heard some rumors. I don't know that it's true, but I heard that I heard from some pretty top NFT artists themselves that Voice was putting that money into buying NFTs from people, the staff members. They would hand out money to staff members and say, just buy NFTs and blow it up. And that inflate, the sales on the front page to make it look like we're actually having volume. That turned a lot of heads really fast, and that blew up on social media and scared a lot of people away, scared a lot of collectors away. They used celebrities like John Cusack a lot in their promotions and trying to get the fact that they had John Cusack on their website to have some kind of notoriety and throwing those names around. And he's sold a lot of NFTs on Voice, and I bought NFTs from John Cusack. I thought that was really cool to have like one of my favorite actors ever on Voice, like selling NFTs with me. We're side by side selling NFTs. I bought one from him. I actually turned around and resold that NFT for twice what I bought it for. And that's just not happening now these days. Over the last couple months, if you look, they advertise what they sell. If you look at their front page, you can do the math yourself. You click on who's buying and who's selling NFTs. Unfortunately, it's been embarrassing to say this, but the last couple of months, the only people buying NFTs are residents buying NFTs from other residents with the stipend money that they were given from Voice. So their collector base has just died. And I really hope they can get it back. They've got to do something. So a lot of these changes that they've made, moving to a public platform makes a lot of sense. Going from being on a private blockchain where your NFTs could just die if they go under, to being public and on ETH and Polygon is a lot better, because now your NFTs are tied to a wallet that you own, and it's up to MetaMask whether or not you get to keep them now. So
it sounds like they did one thing right and a lot of things wrong. And when we talked about this, when we first talked, I was appalled by how Voice can just basically use and abuse the NFT community and the artists, and like they pillaged and ran off and lost their following, you know. So $150 million company, Voice, they had a lack of communication. They stopped allowing community members to vote, got rid of their support page. They're centralized, and they inflated purchasing. It just seems to me like they made all the wrong decisions to try and build something meaningful and impactful for the real artists out there trying to make, you know, gain financial freedom through the blockchain, which is what it was intended for.
Right.
So,
right.
Did we miss anything?
Oh, I'd probably go on a lot longer about it. I put a year of my life into that platform, and I really believed in what they were doing. And I learned really the hard way. I should have got out a lot earlier and listened to Ella Brightlight. She has a lot of good advice. She knows when things are going to happen, and she's really smart when it comes to business and entrepreneurial things. And I'm very new at it, and I didn't listen. I stuck with it, and I unfortunately, you know, ate a lot of bad stuff as far as my personal following goes. I lost a lot of followers because of that, and I lost probably some trust as well, because I was promoting something that was a turd.
Well, a lot of people followed you to other platforms.
They did. A lot of people did follow us anyway to other platforms. After I realized what was going on, and I was like, oh, wait a minute. You're like, this is not good. Let's actually review this and see what's going on. And then we did our research, and we moved on to other platforms. We're still on Voice. I mean, if they decide to come back and the changes that they've made do something good, and the problem obviously was where their money was going. So they had to fix that, or they're going to go under. And if they are able to continue to move more towards a decentralized direction, but not forget about their community. That's the thing that sucks. Like it's like they used us and then they forgot about us, and then we left. So I don't know that I can personally trust someone that has that amount of money to hold some of my best artworks anymore, is what I'm saying. So I don't know.
So pull your thing off of Voice right now while things are tumultuous, is the advice.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. I would say so, especially since their lead, IT engineer is currently looking for work on LinkedIn.
Yeah, that's never a good sign at all of growth and success when your lead engineer is trying to leave. I have one last question. I'm a big John Cusack fan, and what are his NFTs like? I've never seen them.
He does a lot of photographs stuff that you don't see anywhere else. Photography of him. He actually does some drawings and some watercolors. The one that I bought was a nude artwork that he had done, a really abstract one, really simple, with line work and watercolors, and I really liked it, so I got that one called Blue Nude, and that's the one that I was able to sell for double what I bought it for, $300 at the time. And I bought it for 150 and sold it for 300. So he puts out a lot of stuff every single day. It's all over the place. It's very eclectic. And I personally enjoy eclectic things. I collect all kinds of things. You can see the cabinet behind us full of, rare books and signed books and Pokemon cards and all these really crazy board games and Hanayama puzzles. I love everything. So I loved his collection just because it's so full of diverse ability, photography, abstract art, and optical art, and lots of really cool things to select from. So
awesome. Yeah, I'll have to check out some of his stuff and not buy anything from Voice though.
Right.
But I appreciate your guys' time. And, if you're an artist and you're on Voice, you want to get your stuff off of there. They're going through a tough time, and you heard it here first. Thank you so much, guys, for informing the community about what's going on.
No problem. Thank you.
Thank you.